Hello and welcome to Crockett FPV, and today we're going to be converting this Amazon rock crawler into a Defender rock crawler. So we've got a model Defender 90 here, which we're just going to use as a guide reference. We're going to be making out of foam board. So we first need to get this power source sorted out, because I broke the charger to the original one and we were only getting 20 minutes of battery life. So we've got a very basic 4AA battery pack in there. We're going to use 1.2 volt rechargeable batteries, which will give the same 4.8 volts which the original one gave us, and with 3.5 times the battery life that should give us 2400 milliamp hours. So we should get over an hour of battery life on that, so that's a lot better. We've just got to start by soldering. Oh dear, I've broken it. We've just got to start by soldering these. I've already prepared those. So let's get to it. Okay, so I tried to get it to work. It didn't work. Basically, I think the board's broken. So we're going to replace this with a FlySky receiver, so I can use it with the remote that I use on my fly on my planes and co with. So I've unplugged all the motors. We're going to keep most of the motors apart from this steering one, which I'm just going to replace with a simple 9-gram servo, because that will plug in a lot easier. And that little literally just screw off, and then I glue the new one in. We'll keep the batteries, which I've put in there. They're rechargeable batteries and should still get the performance, and I'll just run a brushed ESC. Only one. I'll keep the 4-wheel drive because there's 2 motors, so I'll just plug both of the motors into the one ESC just by soldering the 2 wires together pretty much. Okay, so I've built most of the bodywork. I've done the first spray coat. I've literally just glued it onto the old one because it just happened to fit with the right amount of ground clearance quite well. I just need to reinforce it at the back a little bit because that flexes. The electronics didn't work, so I've got to replace them with this FlySky receiver and use a plane remote. And I've also put a new servo in here just for better compatibility into the receiver. And I need a brushless ESC so I can control the motors. But other than that, it should work better with better range and hopefully longer battery life. I'm still going to be using that battery pack I stuck in underneath. So I'm going to get those electronics wired up and do a second coat before I go and do some more details on this quite basic bodywork. So we had to redo the entire electronics pretty much, apart from the motors, and basically the ESC didn't have enough amps from the AA batteries, so we ended up using this 3-cell 100 milliamp hour battery, and because it's 3-cell and we only need 5 volts, we've got to run it through this big block, which is probably bigger than it needs to be. But I didn't really have an alternative to that. And yeah, and then the 2-cell, which it said was advertised to be able to run off, it overheated, the speed controller that is. So that wasn't very good. So yeah, we end up with poor ground clearance and a lot of weight. But it does work, which it didn't do before, so that's not bad. It does make the suspension pretty soft as well, which is nice.
As you can see, when you're doing some test runs, have lost a bit of paintwork there.
Yeah.
And on the back.
Damage.
But it does work effectively.
Yeah, it works pretty well. It's really good off-road. And I've also finished up the bodywork with a few sort of light details, just to give a general impression. I haven't really